Passes unanimously. Moving on to item 6, oral communication of the public on non-agendized items. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the council on any matter not on the agenda. Speakers are allowed to speak on any number of topics for 1 3-minute period. State law prohibits the council from acting on non-agenda items. Those that are interested in speaking, please line up to your right. Behind the sign, 3 minutes will be allotted.
Several times during the past time, and I just, continuing on with the love fest we had earlier, I think it's time to move on now and move forward. I think as most people know, when you go to trial, you write out all your claims and you hope to win everything, but not everything has the same probability of winning. And so just to remind the public that we have a check for $10 million plus some change that arrived last week. We're going to get about $1 million or more per year on this contract, and I think we have Mr. Martello to thank for. I think at some point, Mr. Letcher wanted us to fire Mr. Martello if he didn't bring home enough money, and I think, I had said before, if he doesn't win this case, that's it. And so he won the case, he settled it, we're all better off now. So I think at this point, Mr. Letcher, you owe Mr. Martello an apology. And I think at this point we need to move on. I'm not going to speak for Mr. Martello, but I'm assuming that he would be willing to stay after the meeting and accept an apology. Or perhaps we could work out some type of phone call tomorrow, but I'll let you two resolve that. Thanks.
Next speaker, please. Yeah, the deficit was $30 million.
Good evening, Council. Jonathan Lustig, fourth-generation Mountain View resident. In many ways, Mountain View has displayed the intelligence, creativity, and compassion that is required to remain an elite city. But currently, our city is blemished by its failure to help the ill. Many patients have personally spoken to you that are stricken with serious ailments. With no practical access to their medication, their pain continues and their self-worth diminishes on a daily basis. You have the power and ability to change your life for the better. And when the opportunity exists to help another human being, we should embrace it. Since the very beginning of the struggle, I have known my actions to be righteous and just. Despite setbacks, I have encountered hundreds of people that have encouraged me to continue on. And, convinced that truth and justice would prevail, I have. A number of noble individuals, including some of you on the City Council, have contributed their firm support and tireless efforts to this cause. Yet some have remained unethically stubborn in their opposition. I understand that people with big hearts and good intentions will disagree at times, but in this case, people are suffering, and it's our own disagreement that allows this suffering to continue. I suggest that those who oppose the medicinal cannabis facility reconsider their opposition. You do not have the ability to make these people's illnesses disappear, but you can help dramatically mitigate the suffering of those in pain by ending your opposition. One must not lead with fear. Instead, one must lead with courage and bravery and remain steadfast. Unfortunately, it is simple to instill fear into the psyche of uninformed individuals, especially when discussing a substance that has been lied about for the past 70 years. Relying on unfortunate and unrepresentative isolated cases and the support of an uninformed minority does not relieve us of our responsibility or undermine the truth of some basic facts. We know, despite consistent efforts to obscure this fact, that throughout the state of California, the majority of medicinal centers have incurred no crime, while helping hundreds of thousands of people alleviating their suffering. The same opportunity exists here in Mountain View. Stubbornly standing by the federal government's no medicinal use position is indefensible when studies conducted around the world have conclusively proven its falsity and thereby revealed such a position to be mere cover for corporate interests or personal fear. Also, claiming the federal laws trump state laws is an all too easy, unethical, and inaccurate avoidance of our responsibility. Every attorney general from every medicinal state has informed the constituents of the primacy of state law. When will the politicians of Mountain View cease to stubbornly hide behind inaccuracies and falsified positions? When will the politicians of Mountain View begin to serve the interests of the people of this crucial issue? I am confused, I am angry, and I know many others who are as well. You elected officials are relied upon to enact policies that best represent your constituents. Using falsities and fear to prevent the will of the majority from becoming law is anti-democratic and, in my mind, unforgivable. I have said many times before, the past 70 years of cannabis prohibition will be looked upon as the greatest medical blunder in history. Instead of spreading fear and falsities and becoming part of the problem, let us strive for greatness. let us strive to become part of the solution by displaying greatness, strength, and courage in helping the sick and suffering. I hope those who have...
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
Hi there, my name is Jim Lustig. I just want to suggest that over at the high schools you teach the kids that falsity is not a word. Great speech except for the use of the word falsity. I think you meant falsehoods. I just wanted to draw your attention. I'm having these articles. I have a couple articles. They're not really articles. They're actually Mateer and Ross columns and also a John Carroll column. I just want to just gloss over this real quickly and move on to talking about Shoreline Park community. This article is real interesting. The first 7 words, the article generally talks about some robberies at dispensaries, but the first 7 words are, unlike their mellow brethren in San Francisco. And the rest of the article does talk about the steps places have taken to improve security, like not taking cash instead of taking charge cards. And then the last page is a John Carroll article. It's kind of funny that the federal government says there's no medicinal use, but they also grow it at the University of Mississippi and ship it to patients here in California. We have a little trouble understanding how the FDA can say there's no use when, again, they grow it and ship it through the U.S. mail. So moving on,